何かが変わるさ。ゴールまでの長い距離に一歩踏み出す時だろう。運命なんて決めていない。ひらめきを信じなくちゃ。やるならガンガン攻めようぜ。逃げてちゃ将来だって後悔。前を向いて汗をかいてもな、その涙にシャウト。逆転しよう
Okay, to this day the music is still pretty loud here. Well, I think it should be fine for the most part. I hope. Okay. Well, while Genshin Impact has some downtime, might as well take some time to actually get caught up on Rise from the Ashes. I think the touchscreen is well aligned. I think the touchscreen is aligned. Okay, so we finished investigation last time. We're just about on to, I think, the second day. What is it? No, the third day for the first court case. And then afterwards, we're supposed to be doing the second day's court case. No, the last day's court case, I believe. Because it's been like 2 Japanifornia days worth of court cases and investigation right now. And I'm expecting there to be at least 1 more investigation. So, let's just go ahead, get on with it, finally finish the game, audience or not. It's my first time experience, so let's do this thing. Let us do this thing. And in other news, Jeff Bezos has stepped down as Amazon CEO. Interesting. Very interesting. Will it be a new direction for Twitch TV? I have no idea. I like there to be a new direction in Twitch TV. So is a Phoenix right or is a Phoenix wrong? I have no idea if I'm right or wrong. All we can do is try our best, and hopefully we get everything right. Otherwise, I hope people who have been lurking and stopping by are having a good day. I know usually people stop by because in the beginning they expect me to start early, but I'm not one of those starting right early people. Or right on time. I still need preparation time, and apparently people don't like preparation time, or don't have, what is it, time to be after preparation time. Hey, what's up, Kaio? Did you change your name again? Why do people change their names on Twitch? I can't remember people. I literally can't remember people if they change their name. Okay. I appreciate the posture check, but I literally don't remember you. Well, that's good. It's good that you can see the screen now. Not everybody has access to a good phone or a computer in this day and age still. Technology is a luxury. Technology, time, and money are such luxuries that not everybody can, afford. Just like how one can't easily afford a lawyer. Lawyer. I don't know how to say the word anymore without an accent. Anywho. February 24th, 9:41 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby Numero Dos.
So, what do you think, Mr. Wright?
I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time.
And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed.
I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning.
We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though.
Same here. I'm used to all-nighters, too.
So, how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figure as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that?
A plea bargain is a plea bargain. Oh yeah, I do play Pokemon, but not as much. Kaio, I still don't know who you are or remember who you are. I don't know if you changed your name. I don't know if you haven't been here for a long time. I think I remember you kinda from last year. I said Kaio, not Kaiser. Kaiser, dude. Hey, thank you for the lurk, Sin. How you doing? Let me go ahead and give you a shout out at the same time. How do you...
Hi, how are you?
How do you tell, like, an S from an O sound? I literally said a consonant and a vowel. Yes, I definitely don't remember. Well, it was last year, so... Anyway, let me go ahead and give a shout out to Sin, who is doing Immortals Phoenix Rising. The shout out is not delayed. I appreciate that, bot. I appreciate that. But yeah, I don't really play Pokemon so much anymore because I really don't have any goodwill, any good faith in Game Freak nowadays. Like, I enjoy my time in the Crown Tundra. I do have the DLC on my Nintendo Switch, it's just I haven't played my Nintendo Switch games in a long time. And I should actually, you know, take some time to appreciate my DS and 3DS library a little bit more. Try to go back to my roots, you could say. Yeah, you could say both, Kaiser dude. I don't know where Capcom is, but I know Capcom is trying to get back on their feet. They haven't gone any further in the Ace Attorney series for a long time. Oh, yeah, not in a long time, especially for Western ports. Capcom is going to release Resident Evil 8 this year. They've already released Dai Gyakuten Saiban Ni, the second one, in Japan. And I don't know if there's going to be any more, like, sort of... They've already released HD ports of their trilogy games. But they haven't released, like, an HD port of Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice, which might give them an idea if they want to keep on selling on the Ace Attorney franchise. Oh, hey, Night Tick. We're not talking about your favorite game right now. We're focusing on the game right now.
We agree that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. Alana! Don't tell me you! Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are.
Miss Sky.
Hmm?
We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall.
What kind of trace evidence?
Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you?
In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall?
We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky?
Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright.
Alright. It's now Dangan... I mean, it's not... Obviously, it's not Danganronpa, but Danganronpa also has a, you know, a trial mechanic. This is the trial mechanic for this game, which is like a decade old. February 24th, 10 a.m., District Courtroom number 9.
Objection!
Yeah, and I still have my copy of Pokemon Y I haven't completely finished, honestly. I might return to it, but I need to actually sort out my Pokemon in my old games. Why are you sad, Night Tick? I've been sad for a long time. You know, that's my secret, folks. I'm always sad.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is...
I'm afraid you'll have to clarify.
It takes 20 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time.
But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually appeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as a prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today, I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. I was going to say conceal itself, but my English is still not proper.
Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself.
And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Admirable trait? Jesus, English.
Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand.
For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department.
A suspect? You mean the so-called murder?
Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Sir, I'm Officer Mike Meekin, sir. My occupation is, that would be murder, sir.
So you're telling us you're a professional killer?
Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir.
Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is...
Sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend, sir.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, will help me, sir.
Officer Meekins,
Yes, sir.
give us your report of the crime. Consider that in order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I'm part of the generation that must be told what to do, sir.
Jesus Christ, this is... okay. I hated reading that. Oh my god. Oh, Nightick, I'm really sorry to hear that. By lost, did you say, like, lost as in no longer with you, or lost as in broken up? But yeah, it will take some time and stuff, but yeah, it does take some time to move on for somebody, well, regardless of what happened to them. Okay. I know this is translated from Japanese, but this is still not completely representative of a younger generation this day and age.
You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm.
Oh boy, here... my vocal cords are gonna break from this guy.
Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, and I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
Well, it sounds correct so far, but that doesn't mean he actually killed the person.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you?
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see that you fainted, and a colleague hoped you regain consciousness.
That's easier said than done, Kaio P. In all honesty, that's easier said than done. Especially for, like, somebody who, primarily me, and anybody else in the chat who's, dealing with past memories. Ghosts of the past, however you want to put it. It still wrecks my brain to this day. I'm still alive, though. I am still very much in the kicking, in the flesh.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
What I need here is more info to work with. Okay, Okay, my lives are reset. Amazing. Okay. Alright, so we gotta press him for data. Hold it! Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir.
The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the chief of detectives, sir.
Ugh. Oh god, this thing.
I was so sure it wasn't broken during the transferal process, sir. That was my sole mission for the day, sir.
Oh god, that's still kind of Monka-esque to look at.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
After the awards ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around. And I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room, sir.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us, what did you see when you got there? That's not a police mascot. That is looking something that, like, every other thing in anime looks cursed to begin with. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck.
So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right?
There it is! I found it! This is the one right here.
Would you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 498-9596. That's my number, sir.
I see. Huh? But the number 498-9596 is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. That's when I spotted the man on the security screen.
So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife.
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms around like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar.
About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. I'm assuming it was 5:30 p.m. And yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, Night Tick. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. I mean, hopefully your day gets better, your evening gets better, or whatever gets better. All I can do right now is try to amuse the audience. Some kind of masses. With the voice acting. Due to this game being a visual novel without much voice acting. It was about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
That's nice, sir, I mean. It's nice that you recover, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
Twitch is doing that thing again. So the man let his guard down, snatched the knife. You took his knife?
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
I, see. He must have been desperate.
Next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then...
My nose is itchy.
The next thing I knew...
Yes?
The judge is... Even the judge is looking like Monka S, like... Go on.
He punched me right in my face, sir.
I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point.
Yes, Officer Meekins?
With regard to that, sir. Take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief delivered it?
What is that? A videotape?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever.
Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
It's a good thing I'm sniffling too, because it kind of fits the character. I mean, don't push yourself to get back into editing. Like, keep yourself company and, watch something that makes you happy. Or, like, it's fine to lurk here too. Like, I'm just the one delivering the voice performance to try to amuse myself in my first time experience playing a retro game that I have not played when I was, like, 10 years old. Or however many years old when this game came out. Younger than 20-something. A video of a real murder, just what are we getting ourselves into? Alright, there's the detective coat. There's the detective opening the locker. There's the officer going around the corner. Yo, they actually rendered that pretty well. For a DS game, that's rendered pretty well. I'm impressed. So, gonna watch your favorite anime? Yeah, no problem. If you gotta lurk, go ahead and lurk. I need to watch Sword Art Online, but like, there's always other great animes you can watch too. You don't just have to watch Sword Art Online, just saying. I've watched a few great animes on Netflix lately that I could recommend.
Get that mascot out here scaring the hell out of me.
He's gonna scare the hell out of everyone later on in this case. Oh my god, even Edgeworth is just naughty the
Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us?
by getting this mascot out of her face. What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised this is not going smoothly?
Yes, well, anyway, his tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. As you wish, sir.
Okay, new testimony.
His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprints to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be in. No one else could have unlocked it.
What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried.
If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir. And this, too.
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
People in the know?
The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir.
Speaking of romantic troubles, we've had somebody here who had, romantic troubles. Oh boy. Oh boy. Everybody's having romantic troubles in this day and age, especially with COVID. For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source.
So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint.
But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it.
As his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it.
Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Meekins. Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify.
Yes, sir.
You claim the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. Stupid capture card. Coincidence? I think not. Wait a minute, it's already been opened. What the heck? The locker was already opened in the video. What the frick? Because, like... the evidence locker, it says here about the evidence locker, is that the lights are lit up when it's already open. And then if we look back at the security video, None of the lockers here are open, but when we look at the locker that's being opened right there, that one is already open to begin with. So this guy who's in the coat didn't open the locker. He already opened up an already unlocked locker. Okay, do I have to present the video here? Okay, I know. Okay, now we know what the heck's going on. So there's a contradiction. Do we present the security video, though, or do we present... No, I don't think... It's either the evidence locker or the security video, and I'm probably going to present the security video because, like, honestly... There's the contradiction right there.
Objection!
Boom. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange.
Strange?
This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman.
What? This video contains such a contradiction.
Objection!
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth.
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in this video. You would want me to point it out.
Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence.
Hey, my gut was on point here.
I'll now play the security footage. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video.
How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Well then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be...
Take that!
The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. Do you mean me, sir?
As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released.
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. I got brain power right now. This is amazing. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Ugh. Oh god. That was kind of Monka-esque to look at. Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit.
Hold on, I'm gonna add this as a quote. It's already lit. Because that can be taken in two directions. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. How do you explain this?
Order! Order! What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime.
Objection!
But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered. And the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have been broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh, well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes, why wasn't a locker locked?
Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator?
Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor?
Something jammed the sensor? Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. I see you with the emotes, and I see you. Rawr. Iggyari, objection.
Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out the cause for this.
You were gone, Kaio? I never realized you were gone. We're trying to figure out why the heck this locker is not locked. Because the way these lockers worked is that if it was open, the light would be lit up. So now we're trying to figure out what the heck caused the locker to open if the victim didn't open the locker by default. Okay, my lives are not on the screen, but I can only think of one. Oh! Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Oh!
What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I haven't fall out and roll great distances when I open my...
We can't be sure. That item was completely inside the locker to begin with. Ho ho.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
Ooh. Thick brain plays. That's a thick brain idea. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene.
There just might have been something that fits the description.
But sir, my insulator. You don't mean...
I think I finally got this figured out.
Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door?
A rubber glove. I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove.
But we can't be sure that it was in the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attempts to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is that not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir, it would appear so, sir.
No, you can't use an ID. The ID would get crushed.
Order, order, order. So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. Eh? Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir? Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke?
Very well, begin your testimony.
Hey, we've lost no lives yet. That's pretty good. Mystery Man Part 2?
There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his ID card.
But you said the detective did not present his ID to you yesterday.
An ID card record, I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 514 is that of the victim.
As before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff.
Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Don't, unlike your hair that's already standing on his end. Me too, although it doesn't make too much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleaned up by noon.
Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination.
I don't know how to... So, we have to find the discrepancy with the ID then. The thing is, how could the ID be used when we found the ID in the parking lot?
Mr. Wright, what do you think?
I'm confused. The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe he just panicked.
Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. That has to be the last statement, because it says right here, when we found the ID card, it was located at the prosecutor's office crime scene, retrieved from the underground parking lot. At the same time, yeah. Oh, I'm connecting the dots now. I'm kind of connecting the dots. But let me press for more information first. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards?
Yes, sir. This card right here next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it.
What if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time, it's my ID, that card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID chokes me.
Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this.
Please proceed with your testimony.
Objection! Wait, chotomate. Chotomate, Officer Meekins. I'm not gonna waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
No, not that crime scene. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
A lost item report. It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, correct? I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. And his body was found in the trunk of a prosecutor's car.
Order, so now what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole Goodman's ID card. Aha! What do you think about that?
Order. Does the prosecution have a response?
I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo? Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes, what's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is, well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime.
So
the real crime can only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Ms. Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness. Observe the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Oh, crap. We keep on digging ourselves into another hole. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. Just like the gotcha system. What was that? Oops. I don't have a trap quote yet, so...
who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered then? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana.
What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess?
Objection!
One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. Almost. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. Ooh, that's true. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter.
Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes, Your Honor.
if this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. They have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Chance. This is probably one of those Japanese, just typical Japanese anime quotes that has chance in the dialogue. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand.
Mr. Wright, do you mean...
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh, whom do you have in mind?
Someone we have a reason to believe who knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify. What is his or her name?
None other than Mr. Jake Marshall, the Texas cowboy at the police department. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Not real-time minutes, of course, but like 20 in-game minutes.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed.
I have not seen it or read that word in a long time. I know what that word is, I just don't remember how to pronounce it. Okay. Google.
Subpoena.
Subpoenaed. Okay. Subpoenaed. I know that word. I just forgot. I just don't remember how to I just literally forgot how to pronounce it. Oop. How did a gamer make judging look cool? I don't know. You have to go back in time to see how they make this game.
Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
We will, Your Honor.
Court is now in recess.
February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2.
There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What do you mean?
You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out.
I haven't figured anything out.
Lana, you're the one who knows everything.
Emma,
You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you.
I don't recall ever asking for his protection.
How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me?
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making detective run around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey. Hey! 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 I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky.
That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
Oh, you mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name?
Never in a million years would I've thought it was you who would have asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SO9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
SO9 incident.
Alana, that's...
I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you're the chief prosecutor. We're a witness in that case.
This Sky was a witness?
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Emma? But what? Why is your name in here?
What? My name's in there? I don't know, unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana? This SL9 incident, it's that?
That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings.
Joe Dark? No, Lana. That's over with. No.
Emma, wait!
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Later.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. I had boogies. I needed to sneeze them. Okay, I think I can breathe. I think I can breathe. I think. Okay. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coinkydink.
Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck.
I'd better take a good look at this file. To be continued. We actually got through Mike Meekins pretty well. I'm surprised. I'm relatively surprised we got through Mike Meekins pretty swell. Alright. Cowboy time. February 24th, 12:14 p.m., lunchtime, District Court Room number 9.
The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Time to turn on my inner Matthew Mercer. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Oh, I know you're a patrolman.
As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place. Oh yeah, Black Lotus, we already did cases 1, 2, 3, 4, on different Phoenix Wright Mondays, and now we're on the final case. Rise for the Ashes is a long one. I'm hoping to, like, at least get a good chunk of it done. If not tonight, it'll be tomorrow night. And then we're gonna do Justice for All on Friday. No, not Monday. Phoenix Wright Friday, yeah. Every Friday I do, like, different segments of Phoenix Wright. Is this correct? I've announced it on my Discord and I've announced it on my Twitter. Do I need to announce it on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook now that I'm doing all the Phoenix Wright games this year? With Ace Attorney Investigations and the crossover with Professor Layton? According to the papers, partner.
What do you mean?
A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly.
Yes, Your Honor, I agree.
Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English.
On the day of the crime, the cowboy has witnessed. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail.
I can't say I particularly care for your attitude.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the finger-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? Or should I say, Mr. Prospector?
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours.
On the day of the crime. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante. Alright, let's try to press him for information. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right?
Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
No desperado I know lets rules get in his way.
No desperados I know join the police force.
So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime?
Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day.
There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that?
I'm sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? What were you doing in a place like that?
I was eating spaghetti.
Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vangeli sepia pasta.
Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles?
Not all desperados eat tacos, partner.
That's not what I meant. I hope this at least taught you a lesson.
That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, "Did you not want a raise this year?" You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct?
Of course, back in the day my locker was a gold mine of evidence.
And yet you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism?
Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works.
That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too.
At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place?
How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room?
I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who would tear the recordings.
You teared them?
Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape.
If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours.
Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life.
This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall?
That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texas don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that.
They can take orders. People in the police force do. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve. Before I use it though, I better up the ante. I mean, people, before actual proper razors exist, people in the military, they didn't have Gillette. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. So he's saying the room is protected by 2 security systems. We present the locker, and then we further present the evidence that he was in the evidence room with the fingerprints. Because I'm thinking he's going to deny that his fingerprints were ever there.
Objection!
Nope. Okay, that's obviously not it.
Objection!
Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime.
And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner.
It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint.
Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, I make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints will be in there.
Objection!
I only wish you were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood.
What's the meaning of this? Your bloodstained fingerprints were at the crime scene?
The blood was wiped away. However, a luminal test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall?
It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders, or her shoulders, or their shoulders.
I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints?
Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Found at the scene of the crime.
Yeah, it's this day and age. We gotta include every single, you know what, in the room. Bloodstained fingerprints.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room.
One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murder touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Well, didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it.
The witness's explanation appears valid. Although there's no room for doubt.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. I forgot I could save, actually. Ooh, I can't wait to get these to the next two games. Alright, let's continue. Well, at least it bookmarks a pretty good spot with the, what is it? The chapter start. I can't let him squirm out of this one. I've got to find something decisive to tie Officer Marshall to this crime. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine. It's no mystery.
Please explain.
My locker's covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened. I have a feeling the victim's shoe might come into play here in a bit. Unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's gotta do with breakfast while the other's a type of murder.
He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different.
I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found at Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too.
So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's hand fingerprint.
That's the only logical conclusion. Nah, this is a contradiction. If we look at the evidence room floor plans, there's 2 handprints that are on 2 different lockers. And there's a bloodstained pool right on, like, near the locker that we saw on the evidence video. Objection! Damn it. Hang on. I need to reset that. I don't want to lose another life. However, the evidence room floor plan is something we need to use on the right statement. He's claiming that his fingerprint was in the same spot as a bloody handprint that a glove print was found. However, that's not the case. Nope, it's not this one either. The floor plans have to be the freaking evidence. There's like no way that it's not the evidence. Because the floor plans clearly display that, like... Alright, so... There's a pool of blood over here. There's a glove print over here. And then Officer Marshall's handprint is over here. The only other thing I could say is the ID card record. Wait a minute. No. The video is not relevant right now. That's because you, how did you put it, pay your respects once a month?
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's there and there now is a heap of broken dreams.
I see.
It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Okay, so that got updated. Okay, so now we know that that tiny piece of information. So that's on his own locker. So now we gotta tie his prints to the possible murder. Do I have to present it again?
Objection!
Nope. Doesn't the vid show... The only locker that was used was Detective Goodman's locker. It was open to begin with. The victim's locker was open from the get-go. When I looked in the leftmost corner of the video, I don't see the locker being opened. If he's claiming that his locker all the way at the end is his own locker... Wait a second. Yeah, that one locker was not... That locker all the way at the left side of the room was not open one bit. Unless it was. Wait a minute. That piece of white cloth was not there before.
Objection!
Oh my god. What statement is it? What statement is it? Okay, now this is one of those, and this is one of those times that Kaiser Dude is probably not around here. So the bloodstain, so the handprint in the middle of the room was a glove. There's a pool of blood, which I can assume is Mike Meekins' blood. And then Jake Marshall, his handprint was on his own locker, so the evidence room floor plans is not useful here. But the video, though, Where the heck is the right evidence for this? The video shows the locker being used and a piece of white cloth being shoved in there. Which statement is it that's relevant to? Some old school nerd would tell me, but apparently they ain't watching me. They'd be watching the more popular Ace Attorney. The murder touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. And one thing's straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? We already said this. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Oh my god. So it has to be the statement, but like what the heck is gonna be contradictory? The video? Or this frickin' evidence from floor plans? Because, like, nothing's working so far. The prince is not going to say much of anything because we now clarify that his own fingerprint was on his own locker. Like, the only thing I could post is the evidence room floor plan or the security video. But both of these pieces of evidence tie together. His locker was clearly being used after a police officer got stabbed. How did the prince get on the mid locker? It was a glove. He said that it's a glove. The murder touched the locker and my fingerprint was by... Oh my god, he has more than one statement that I could actually do a contradiction to. It's ridiculous. I need another brain. If the murderer was wearing gloves...
Objection!
Oh my... This is literally pissing me off right now. The freaking video. Oh my god. It's either the video or the floor plan. But nothing is helping me right now, without a guide. Like, I don't want to look at a guide right now, but at the same time, I feel like that's all stuff to do if nobody on Twitch can help. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. I was thinking a little bit too much outside the case right now. but we don't have anything that we can, like, present for that right now. We pressed him on every single statement he has right here. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. It has to be the bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated, but we have to present evidence that makes them related. Like, how is the video not proving that, like, there's an officer was bleeding, and your locker was open at the same time? Like, how does that not prove it? Oh my god. This is about as, like, far-fetched as me not figuring out that a murderer would not plant a murder weapon on the first part of this case. Because my brain does not think that way. Like, this photo that we had at the beginning of this case, like, shows that our supposed client, the suspect, did not have a planned murder weapon. Of course I pressed all the statements. I just skipped through all of them because I didn't need to read everything in a typical accent again. I pressed every single thing. The picture? This seal of blood in the desert. It's just food for the... Oh wait, hold on a second. So we needed to keep on pressing him? We needed to keep on pressing this dude? No way. So we needed to press him on his own fingerprints, and then we needed to press him on the last statement? Alright. The game wants me to do that, the game wants me to do that. How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too.
So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint.
That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? The seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. As long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
Maybe we do need to play the video back. Present the video at that time. We have a new statement now. Oh my god. I want to play the footage back and show that the locker was used, but the game is not letting me. The game is literally not letting me. What the heck? So that means we need to present another piece of evidence? Or do I need to press this one? What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have.
But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
Blind spots?
Right, places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth, the floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could have left the room without being caught on tape. Okay, you know what else is actually making me ticked right now? My bitrate is going down again. 1 second, folks. No, it's not you, oh god, not again. It's not you, Black Lotus, it's literally Twitch. And local internet and everything. Everybody's internet is being terrible nowadays. That's amazing, really. That's absolutely amazing. Well, at least we have quality options tonight. That's, pretty fortunate. But I guess it's because, this is because I'm not playing the HD version, I'm not getting the attenciones. Apparently Twitch thinks that 259 kilobits is stable when it's actually not stable. Just so I can show people real time what the heck is going on with the things on my end. Literally, it thinks that like under 1,000 kilobits is okay. Everybody's internet is terrible nowadays, what with everybody using it. Anyways, removing that from the screen. Alright, we've returned.
Objection!
We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Well, Mr. Wright, if you could show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now.
Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall.
Finally. There, how's that for evidence? Please allow me to apologize for my colleague, Your Honor. He gets carried away sometimes.
Very well, this certainly isn't a first.
We forgive him too, Officer Marshall. He's not a bad man, just a bit disillusioned. Of course, I'm not one to gun down unarmed boys. Oh, come on. Okay, so it's not the locker, but it's the cloth that sticks out from the locker, I think? At least now we can put the video into perspective now. This is where we put the video into perspective. That's the good thing. Alright, we're gonna fast forward through all this dialogue. Objection!
Objection!
Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Would you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video.
That locker with the white cloth sticking out, that was the witnesses, I believe.
Now then, let's rewind the video a bit.
Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order, order. It would seem that's the only...
Hold your horses. Sorry, partner. Well, you got the wrong man. Well, so what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say open that locker. Now prove it. Oh, come on. Why can't I save here? A fingerprint sensor? Oh, thank you. Thank you, now I can save here. Before I screw up again. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention about... Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. Okay, I think refreshing... People who need to refresh should be able to get the visuals back up.
In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks.
So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Jerky.
I only got one word for you, partner. No!
Heh, we got him.
Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself.
If this is a joke, it's the worst I've heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime.
Olay, please answer the question.
What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we could figure the rest out from here.
We can?
Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for This is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
Obviously, he was over here. Officer Marshall was standing right here.
So Officer Meekins did notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Meekins' warp theory.
Come on. Why is it I always get the right idea but point to the wrong thing? I will say that the Japanese do have an obsession with the, oh god, camera. The Wild West theme. In a bunch of different media. Alright, let's save right here so we don't stray too far away. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. Oh! I was pointing at the wrong thing. Okay. So, Officer Marshall should be in front of the locker. Officer Marshall was standing right here.
There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is none other than Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman.
Objection!
But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted.
When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir.
And how did Detective Goodman respond?
He suddenly pulled a knife on me.
Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I understand.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall?
You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it.
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim.
Damn it. Oh. He might. Maybe? We might?
I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt an Officer Marshall dressed up as a victim?
Well, am I kidding? I don't have anything like that.
I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat.
This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. Basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me.
Phoenix, try thinking outside the box.
Outside the box. Speaking of boxes, I must give a shout out to the one and only Hot Box of Fun. Yo, how's the rest of your session of Halo? We're currently on Le Case, the final case. We have to think outside the box, even the hottest of boxes. We're trying to prove that a dude was dressed up as a victim in disguise. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Wait, can I not pause this? Can I not pause this? Oh, I can pause this. How's the rest of Halo? Why do you think this locker was open in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the scene of the crime. Yet, and after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot.
Very well, let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker.
He was bleeding. He had blood on him. What is that video? It's a Monka S video with the mascot. He was bleeding. He had blood on him. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know what to make to what end yet. Yet? However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat?
You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Not bad.
Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth?
Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you were today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Was that grammatically correct? I couldn't tell. Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. It seems the time has come. All right, here's his confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID card and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I was expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Wait.
So the supposed victim was really you?
But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Yeah, how could that be? Alright, let's save right here before we make another mistake. That's true, you don't wear the color white. When you say it, you mean... You even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years ago had passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with a transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance, that's why I... But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor. Well, I think I know why it's missing. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. I gotta think about this carefully. The cheese touch. The hot cheese touch. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera.
And the detective's ID card?
I stole that the morning of the incident. So that was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. Wait. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall? So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight.
What do you mean, partner?
I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
So what you're saying is on that day...
Okay. I don't know if it's a time when we could present evidence, though.
Objection!
Nope. Just wanted to try that. I knew that was not going to work. So he's claiming there's no murder that happened at 5:15 in the evidence room. We gotta prove that wrong.
Hold it!
You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and trying to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person, mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
And my nose is itchy. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say.
So you knocked out Officer Meekins and...
Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. You wish. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID Injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that the salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room?
Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I could say for sure is he deserved his sentence.
I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it?
I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about.
What happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concernable with that incident? Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present with what I think his real reason is. Now is the time to present some kind of evidence. Neil Marshall.
Objection!
His brother is a victim. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. Well, the only thing I've been sipping on is my tea. Anyways. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
What? A prosecutor?
He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors reward. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed, and the case fell into your hands.
What's his relation to you?
He was my brother. Damn. He was investigating the murders of Damon Gant, then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. Damn. That's really his hair, too. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. He just put his hat on like no tomorrow.
Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with this resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. In disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Oh god, we're back in one full circle. It's chance? It's gotta be more than that.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. But wait, Chotamate, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Sky. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
Arrgh!
I rest my case. Oh my god, we've come a full circle again.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security's camera tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
Well then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Hold it! Your Honor, wait.
Emma?
The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right?
What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
Your Honor? Oh, in a sense.
Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
Yes!
I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dart killings.
Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky Sisters were in that file.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day? So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker?
And no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I explained it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So, I ran over there and looked at it again.
So did you find something?
Oh no. No!
Huh?
Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
Is that all?
Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student.
I'm just here to... I'm just an attorney.
But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone could save Lana, it's you.
Me? Oh boy.
Time's up now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a fingerprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Guilty.
We're trying to prevent that, though.
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all night.
Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? I object. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on here? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. I wish I could just, continue, playing the game after I save.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
The victim's shoe. As they say back west, even a blind man can hit with buckshot. That is, as long as he's facing the general direction. It seems Mr. Wright's not sure which direction to face. Dang it! Wrong evidence. The more evidence there is, the greater the chance of me being wrong.
Just calm down, Mr. Wright. Try and remember what the evidence room was like on the day of the crime.
What is it that bothers me about this blood mark? Please allow me another chance, Your Honor. I'll prove it this time. The actual evidence room floor plans? Nope, it's not it either, but good thing I don't lose life here. Okay. Which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? The videotape? Nope, it's not the videotape. Skippity skip skip skip. Skip, fast forward, speed boost. Okay. Oh. The Monka S. Badger thingy. What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well?
Well, what?
That's right. As long as the Blue Badger is dancing there, it would be impossible to place a handprint at the spot on the locker. Hey.
What, Nani?
Aha!
So that means, just exactly what does that mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? What traces were undeniably found in that locker?
Don't look at me, I didn't put it there.
Mr. Wright, thinking through it scientifically.
How did you get here, Emma? Emma.
That afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room. After you put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on the locker.
So that must be this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in.
Just one moment, I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but deuces.
But how?
But how?
one time was captured on this tape taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered.
Objection!
That's preposterous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. That is complete bullcrap.
Objection!
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker.
Objection!
So then, assuming this murder you purport is really happening, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first... The ID record.
To summarize, the defense claims that, prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room.
That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well, then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edwards said, proof must be presented.
Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence?
Before saving? Sure. After saving? Sure. That's a pretty good question. I'd like to know about that as well, Black Lotus. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required.
An ID card? Oh, the record, the card record.
Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see,
Here, 4:50 p.m.
Also, this ID surely can't be a coincidence with 4:20 p.m.
If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done?
I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it could have been me. Nope, ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away. By the real murderer, I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood on foot.
Bruh.
Oh. That's why they say there's two bodies at two different... Basically, here's the slip-up. Edgeworth became an accidental accomplice.
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room.
Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. The jackpot. A bunch of sevens. Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with whoever this number belongs to.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777777
That's 1-7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least, at present. Eh?
What?
Explain yourself, son. The ID card number belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
Objection!
But that's preposterous. Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted.
An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates.
Objection!
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you, to her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana?
Objection!
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not... this. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident.
SO9 incident.
Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor?
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time,
Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did.
Lana,
I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you did...
I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Why would you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
Lana,
Even if it involved forging evidence.
So she spilled some beans. Damn. God damn. See? That's what I'm talking about.
No. No! Order! Order! Order!
And the crowd goes... Lana's remarks caused such a stir, the chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. Oh yeah, Black Lotus, since you haven't been here, we have sound effects. You haven't been using them. You would have to wait until the following day. Damn. Alright, let's save right there. Well, damn.
Oh, I'm still new, forgive me.
Today is February 24th, 3:12 p.m. right in company law offices, but I need to take another intermission for I need to use le restroom. I need to rehydrate myself, because apparently it looks like we have 2 more days, according to this case's schedule, 2 more days of this case left. Yeesh, yeesh, yeesh. Which I can assume there's 1 more day of, what is it? 1 more day of investigation and, what is it? It was getting good, yeah, but we'll take a quick intermission, but I'll be right back in a bit as soon as we return from a bit in this case, and hopefully wrap it up tonight, if not tomorrow night. Be right back.